Hey, what's up guys, it is Card Shuffler 99 here, and today we are going to be breaking down the Sacred Riana's audition trick on America's Got Talent. We're going to be going stage by stage through her entire trick, and we're going to break it down for you guys in the best possible way. Before we get into it, we are going to announce the giveaway. Not 100% sure what we're giving away for the month of June, so yes, we are doing a June giveaway on the channel. Our last giveaway for the 100,000 subscriber giveaway, we gave away 100 decks of cards. We're not doing something like that this year, or for this month. Maybe we'll give away some decks, gift cards. So let us know down in the comment section what you guys want us to give away. And if you guys want to enter that June giveaway, all you gotta do is like this video, comment down below, and make sure you're subscribed, obviously, to the channel so you guys can stay updated with all news in regards to the contest. But yeah, guys, that is it for that. Once again, and feel free to let us know if you guys agree or disagree. If you didn't know, the Sacred Riana actually did perform on Asia's Got Talent, and she actually won that competition. We did reveal her tricks on Asia's Got Talent. We broke those down, and now we're going to be revealing something here. She did do something pretty similar to what she did on Asia's Got Talent. Not the exact same, obviously, but it is a pretty similar routine with the camera. So we'll talk about that today. Now, the first thing I want to address before getting into the actual reveal is that, we're not actually sort of attacking the Sacred Riana in any way. This is just us theorizing how the trick is actually done. So we're not claiming that these methods are actually correct, but we are going to share our thoughts with you guys. And usually, our thoughts are relatively in the ballpark. We are going to provide you guys some evidence with that being said. And the other disclaimer I want to make is that this is a talent show, and at the end of the day, this is an entertainment show looking for ratings. If you didn't know, these shows all the time, they're going to make the trick, they're going to make the performances look spectacular. They're going to make it look the best possible. So with that being said, there's going to be camera cuts and everything, and oftentimes a lot of things that we can't see because we're not actually there looking at the entire trick. And I'll show you guys what I mean by that as I go along. All right, guys, but anyway, without wasting any more time, let's get straight into the trick. So, basically the trick she did was she's going to lay out a bunch of cards, and these cards are all going to have different names on them. Now, she's going to allow Mel B to select any one of these cards, and this is going to be the person who commits the crime, right? And she has a newspaper folded up, and that newspaper is going to be sort of the prediction in a way, and that newspaper is going to have the picture of Bob on it, right? Now, the other thing to mention is that she is going to use a Polaroid camera and take a picture of Mel B, and with that, Bob is going to be in the background. Now, by looking at the trick, just by, for example, having cards spread out onto the table, I don't believe that the Sacred Riana did a force by any means. If you're going to put a bunch of cards out just like this and say, hey, go ahead and pick one, then obviously you're not forcing it because the magician has no impact on what's happening here. It is 100% a free selection in terms of which one they pick. But what this does imply, and especially when you're going to have a limited number of cards available or a limited number of options in terms of what you can select, that often means that the magician themselves is going to have a scenario planned out for each possible situation. Now, this sense is known as multiple outs. This is something that David Blaine utilizes in a lot of his tricks. Now, multiple outs can sort of be interpreted in different ways, right? Multiple outs could be sort of, having them select something and you have a different outcome. That's not exactly what the Sacred Riana did here, but she did do a form of multiple outs in a sense that she had a plan. She had a setup. So that no matter what Mel B were to select, whichever name, whether it was Bob or whether it was one of the other names, the trick would have worked out. Okay, so that's important to note right there. All right. So once again, she isn't actually forcing anything here because the cards were just dispersed on the table. She's not going to force a card here. It is a free selection. Now, a lot of people from here go, okay, let's talk about the camera part of the trick. How is that part done, right? Because that seems pretty cool, making Bob appear in the sort of background with the picture. Now, this is something that the Sacred Riana did on Asia's Got Talent as well, and we explained it there. This is something known in the artistic world, I guess you could say, as double exposure. If you don't know what double exposure is, it basically is exactly what you saw there, where you can have two pictures sort of overlap on one another. To the point where it looks like there's sort of like a background, right? It looks like there's two different things in the same picture, and that's known as double exposure. Now, there is a way to do this. I'm not going to talk about that. You guys can look it up. You can look with Polaroid cameras, but you can look up on YouTube how to take a double exposure picture. It basically just involves, in a sense, taking a picture with the film and basically just re-putting the film back into the camera and letting the second picture print out on the same film. So it looks like it's sort of there. So all she has to do is get the picture of Bob, and in addition to the picture of Bob, get the picture of every single one of the cards that she had. So in this case, Bob and all the other names. She has to get their picture in the back of separate films. And what she's going to do is whichever name they selected, she's going to put that film into the camera, take the picture of Mel B so that Mel B is situated to the left so that Bob is visible on the right. Now you'll notice she's not going to put Bob in the middle, obviously, because she is taking a picture, and this is known as double exposure, obviously. So if you want the second picture to be visible, you have to have it on separate sides of the screen, right? So obviously she had Bob on the right side of the picture, and then you see Mel B on the left side of the picture, right? So that's double exposure. That's something you can do with Polaroid cameras, once again. Basically just taking a picture, putting the film back in, and allowing the second picture to print out on the same film so that the picture is situated on the other side, and then it would print out the same way. So it's similar like if you took, for example, if you took like printer paper, right? If you were to put something, that's how, oftentimes printers print back to back, is that you could put a piece of paper in, print out on one side, you could put the paper back in, and it can print on the other side, and sort of you have that same sort of situation here. So this is sort of the same idea when it comes to double exposure. It's just the sense that you could put the film back in and allow the picture to print back on the other side. Now, like I said, the Sacred Riana, she's not actually forcing anything within the trick because it was a free selection, right? So the question becomes, all right, well, how did she know that it was going to be Bob? The answer is she really didn't know it was going to be Bob, right? So she's going to have a separate film, like I said, for each possible situation. That's why there's only a limited number of situations. If she could have taken a deck here, and she could have had 52 potential options, 52 potential names, and have them like freely select one like that. But she didn't do that. She had a very limited number of names, and there's a reason for that. And I always say this when it comes to magic, is that there's a reason for everything, right? There's a reason for everything within a trick. Everything is staged for a specific reason, especially something as big as a stage act. So she's only going to have those numbers, and whichever one she picks, she's going to take that film out. Now, this is where the camera cuts come into play, because there's a lot of camera cuts to the point where you don't actually understand what's happening, when it's happening, because things just sort of flash right there. One time I can tell you, especially near the end of the performance, right before the Sacred Riana picks up this, the newspaper for the second time, you'll see that right before the newspaper was actually on the table, folded up a couple times. Next thing you know, camera cut, and she's holding up the picture like right in front of her face, and it's not folded up anymore. And that literally happened in the span of a second. And right there, you could tell they cut out some stuff, right? What she had to do in that time, obviously because she's not forcing anything, is she has to do a switch of some sort with that paper. If she could, she would have taken the whole paper. Obviously, she had it unfolded, so it was sort of like lengthwise. It was pretty long, but she decided to fold it back up. Why is she going to fold it back up and put it back on the table? Because that sets up the perfect opportunity for her to switch it out, because nobody can switch out something that big. But when it comes down to something that's this small, maybe like the size of a playing card, it's easy to switch something like this out. And especially when you got a camera cut and a desk in front of you, it becomes a lot easier to switch things out, make a switch. And especially when you got the camera cuts on your side, that's what helps. So once again, if you check near the end of the video, there is a clear camera cut. Once again, she had the newspaper folded up on the table. Split second later, next thing you know, she's holding it up unfolded right in front of her face. So that's how you know that she basically, they utilize camera cuts. And it's not even necessarily her decision. She might have a say in where the camera cuts are going to be. But the producers are technically in on the trick. They know what's happening, and the producers have cameras all around the auditorium, right? They can see everything. They obviously know how the trick is done, especially when you're doing something dangerous or scary. The producers need to know what the auditioner is going to do, because they can't just have someone go out there and just do something crazy, right? They need to know what's going to happen, and they're going to allow it, and they're going to show it on TV whether or not they want to. So that's sort of what it comes down to in a sense. They're going to know what the trick is done. They're going to know when they got to cut something out, when something was seen, all of that. And they're going to make sure the trick looks absolutely perfect. So that's where it comes down to. But yeah, it was a pretty simple trick. She really only did that one part. Once again, double exposure with the Polaroid camera, and then just a free selection and just allowing a switch to come into play, especially with the newspaper, and then also just putting in the proper film for the Polaroid camera. But that's really it, guys. That's our explanation, our theory for the Sacred Riana's trick. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Anyway, guys, this is Card Shuffler 99. Be sure to enter the giveaway, and peace out.